In-depth sports coverage from The Athletic is now just £1 a month with an introductory offer. See the link in the description to sign up. Pressing is the direction of pressure towards the ball, or the player in possession, or players who might receive the ball with the intention of winning it back. It's an active form of defence, or even a form of attack, especially counter-pressing, because it means the team who's just lost the ball immediately trying to win it back and then launch into an attack straight away. And two of its best exponents, Jurgen Klopp and Marcelo Bielsa, will meet for the first time in the Premier League this season. Klopp famously stated that the counter-press is the best playmaker in the world, while Bielsa's aggressive pressing and counter-pressing system was key to Leeds achieving promotion in his second season at the club. Bielsa's system is high energy but uses a combination of ball orientation from a limited number of players and man marking to lock down the rest of the opposition. The focus is on using a few players to chase down the ball while the others move into position close to designated opposition players. This both limits available passing options and puts Leeds players close to their opponents to win the ball if they do receive a pass. As an excellent article by John Mackenzie highlighted, Bielsa also uses a system of +1 in defence and -1 in attack. This means that there should always be a spare defender to sweep, mop up or move to cover wide, and that pressing from the front should be led by one player against two or two players against three. This means that Leeds have balance across the pitch and are seldom caught out in their defensive third. It requires a lot from the forwards, which is why players like Patrick Bamford and new signing Rodrigo are favoured for their incredible work ethic and intelligence positionally and with movement. Klopp's pressing has evolved somewhat at Liverpool from the style he shaped in the Bundesliga. At Dortmund and earlier in his Liverpool tenure, Klopp used a space-orientated counter-press. This meant that when his team lost the ball, as many players as possible would move to surround the player in possession, crowding them, denying them passing options, and aggressively winning the ball back. But Liverpool are a bit more conservative now. They still press intently, but pay more attention to hemming teams in using cover shadows, that is, positioning themselves to block passing lanes and setting pressing traps in the middle of the pitch. But they still counter-press high up the pitch, where Mo Salah, Sadio Mane and especially Roberto Firmino are adept at winning back the ball, as these stats from Stats Perform show. While they were 4th for passes per defensive action, where a lower number shows a more effective pressing system, Liverpool were 2nd for high turnovers, which are attacking sequences that start in open play by winning the ball back and beginning within 40 metres of the opponent's goal. It's worth saying that Ralph Hasenhüttl's Southampton, probably the best current version of a pure counter-pressing side, were 3rd for high turnovers and 2nd for PPDA. And Leeds were also excellent by both measures, second only to Gerhard Struber's Barnsley for high turnovers and top of the PPDA numbers. Fellow promotion winners Fulham also show up well in both categories. And winning the ball back high is only part of how Leeds play though. Bielsa's sides attack using verticality and positional play. In simple terms, he likes them to move the ball forwards quickly and achieve superiority in attacking areas, especially out wide. Now this is why pressing in the system described is important for Bielsa, and any positional team. The quick, dynamic interplay of players requires bodies in forward areas and can leave them open to counters. Leeds addressed this with their pressing and marking system, and it's why, despite being so attacking, they also had such a brilliant defensive record in the Championship. It's also what he builds his attack from. It's why the spare man in defence is important, because he can carry the ball forwards or find a pass to Calvin Phillips, the pivot, or shift it wide to the fullbacks who instigate a lot of Leeds' offensive play. In this, Bielsa is more like Pep Guardiola, but Guardiola's system is zonally built. His players occupy areas in defence and retain possession more cautiously when advancing, while Bielsa is more dynamic and direct. He actually sits between Guardiola and Klopp in his approach to pressing. It can be a means to win back the ball and effect a counter with a direct attacking transition, but it's also a chance to set up the man-orientated marking system, regain the ball and attack positionally. Klopp's Liverpool, on the other hand, have moved to an even more direct style, using long raking passes from the centre-backs to set up counter-pressing chances, or using the full-backs to push up and switch play or cross from deep. Liverpool are not exclusively a long ball team, but with the speed and control of Salah and Mane, and the passing ability of Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, they can afford to be more direct. Now, Klopp doesn't adhere to positional play, though his use of midfielders, like Oxlade-Chamberlain or Henderson, to create overloads on the right especially, does evoke aspects of it. Klopp's Liverpool have become more versatile over time, and it's one of the reasons they don't press as frantically as in his earlier seasons, and it's made them harder to beat. And perhaps this is the most interesting aspect of the story of these two coaches. Klopp refined and even took to an extreme style of pressing at Dortmund, and then adapted and became more flexible at Liverpool. But Bielsa retains his philosophy and is unlikely to adapt it now he's reached the Premier League. The Athletic is in-depth sports coverage that helps fans see the game from every angle. And Tifo is delighted to be able to offer full access to The Athletic now for just £1 per month. See the link in the description for details of this introductory offer. For football fans, that's access to the writing of journalists dedicated to your team, plus David Ornstein, Phil Hay, Daniel Taylor and many more. Not to mention over 400 full-time writers offering inside access and independent analysis of every team that you follow across every league that you care about. Get local expertise and unmatched league-wide perspective. The Athletic's writers are in the bubble, on the field and behind the scenes as it all happens. Catch up, go deep, and join the conversation on the most important happenings in sports.